Islam. If there's anything lovely, if there's anything desirable, if there's anything within the reach of man that is worthy of praise, is it not knowledge? And yet, who is it that obtaineth it? The statesman proclaimeth that he have it. The ruler of the people claimeth the praise of it, but findeth the subject that he possesses it. Evil is not requisite to man, neither vice can be necessary to be tolerated. Yet how many evils are committed by the convenience of the laws? How many crimes committed by the decree of the council? But be wise, O rulers, and learn, O thou that art to command the nations. One crime authorized by thee is worse than the escape of 10 from punishment. At this time, I'd like to recite the Moorish American prayer because it is the source from which we draw our strength. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Durrel. Amen. First off, I'd like to rise, walking the camel's hump, which symbolizes endurance, giving praise to Allah, the author, the creator, the governor of the world, almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. Giving honor to whom honor is due, and I'd like to give honor to each and every one of you. Now, this is our second show for the evening and for the prophet's birthday. But I want to say something before I call my two brothers because they are special. In the Moorish Science Temple of America, we are taught that we deal with spirits. See, there are spirits in the Moorish Science Temple of America. And the prophet, Noble Durrel, is telling me in my spirit that these brothers that's on this show with me today is of good spirit. That's why you got to try the spirit, you got to test the spirit, and you have to see, are you from the same spirit? So now, we're here again to reiterate some things about the holy prophet, Noble Durrel, who is the last prophet in these days and times. The book says, whenever a nation is in need for a prophet, Allah will send one. We was in need for a prophet because we lost everything and we have become diametrically opposed to everything that Allah tells us that we're not. So now we have two brothers. That's always my brothers because they're always around somewhere doing the work of the prophet. And they want to continue because they have some lessons that they want to put forth. And I can't wait to share these lessons with brothers and sisters across the country. So without further ado, I would like to call my brother and my friend, Brother Kinsey.
Praise Allah. Honest to his prophet, Noble Durrel. Thank you, brother. It is a blessing to be here once again. We have had the pleasure of fellowshipping with one another and striving to manifest the divine plan of the ages, Islam. Like it was mentioned earlier, I'm one of the younger ones of the bunch. Just turned 29 years old, and I'm blessed to be a homeowner. I'm blessed to be a father. I'm blessed to be a husband. I'm blessed to be a Muslim, and I'm blessed to be a Moorish American and a Moorish American Muslim. I want to just urge individuals who don't know who Prophet Noble is or haven't heard of him or may do a Wikipedia search or a Google search and get certain details or go to certain videos on the internet and find out who he may have been or what someone said he was or if they said they were around him or knew him and this and that. You really won't get the best experience without coming to the Moorish Science of America. You have to have the experience for yourself, and you have to be open to receive
Right.
the love, the truth, the peace, the freedom and the justice.
That's right.
You have to have an open mind.
That's right.
You have to have a humble spirit engulfed in humility.
That's right.
It's something that you really deserve. We deserve to know about what he did. I mean, just on a basic level, who was he? What did he do? Where was he born? Why are people saying that he is important to them? We're talking about hundreds of thousands of people. Some even say millions of people that learned about Noble Drew Ali and their life got better. What about this individual made these individuals stop doing drugs, stop pouncing around with different women or men? What urged them to stop delving into different crimes? What strived them to start a business? What strived them to become a homeowner, to get married, to be disciplined, to be a vegan like myself, to be eager to go and learn about farming, just from going in the internet like my father did, went to YouTube and was inspired by what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali did and said, I'm going to be a farmer. And this was 5 years ago, and he's 54, born in 68. He said, I'm going to be a farmer. Learned the fundamentals from his grandmother, of course, but then decided to do something on himself. And now we're connected with 90 acres here and 5 acres here and 12 acres here. And it all started from a YouTube video, the inspiration that Allah blessed my father and bestowed upon his heart to do something with it.
That's right.
And so it's just, I have to think back, 17 years ago to kind of reframe my mind on the innocence, the naivety that I had, getting back to that frame of mind so individuals can be able to not be intimidated by the knowledge that's being provided and be able to have a eagerness to just be open. Having an open mind really never did anyone harm. Because you're open, but you're not silly. You're not foolish with your openness. You're taking the information, like my mother says, being a Christian minister. She says sometimes people are spiritually obese.
That's right.
They take in information, and they never exercise it. Just got dead fat or weight or excess, just lingering around, not being utilized. And that's what we do with our mind sometimes, or our brain.
We do.
We do not utilize it in a way that is exercised and has a regiment, to be able to innovate it and improve it, revitalize it, to have what? Rejuvenation. That's the word that Allah bestowed upon me for my 29th birthday, is rejuvenation. How can you rejuvenate your mind? Well, you rejuvenate it by someone who was known as a rejuvenator. Noble Drew Ali was a rejuvenator for the Moorish American nation.
That's right.
He rejuvenated the minds and hearts of millions of people. And there's something special about individuals who have an impact. Because there's a thing that I think his name is Albert Einstein. He talked about compound interest. And when you have a compound impact on someone's life, dealing with the soul and the heart and the mind of an individual, it extends beyond multiple different generations.
That's right.
Not just individuals across the world. They say we have 8 billion people now on the planet. And Prophet Noble Drew Ali has influenced people that have traveled all over the planet Earth. And they did, son. They told various individuals about Noble Drew Ali. So his name has now reached different parts of the globe based off of intent and impact. The intentionality of one who's wanting to rejuvenate has to be pure and sincere. The individual I met the other day, and his name was Sincere, one of the students that I work with. His name's Sincere, and his sister's name's Essence. And then I met another brother named Exodus. I was like, wow, that's a beautiful thing. See, when we are open to learn about these students like I work with, or just the youth in general, we have the ability to hear, not just with our ears, but with our heart. Hey, you open, son?
What are you doing over there?
Mama's gonna take him today. He did one show.
Yeah.
He's done.
You rolling, man. That's my
So
man.
talking about sincerity, talking about genuineness, talking about rejuvenation, and you know, it just it boggles my mind when individuals say that they believe in their heart and their mind that Jesus is going to come. They said, woe unto that day that Jesus comes. Woe unto the day that the heaven gates open and the hearts get exposed and the falsehood is fleeing and the devil is defeated and so on and so forth. Well, the thing about this, and I'm not being radical or speaking against the church or anything, it's not the church, it's the mind of individuals who get information and they do with it what they will. And without being open, you don't have the ear to hear, nor a heart to sympathize, nor the power to save yourself or anybody else around you. So the openness is what I'm talking about. The openness to say, what if there was a prophet that came January 8th, 1886? What if he was divinely prepared to bring me, you, something to change my life? What if he is as if Jesus was the one who came to the Israelites and did for them, and he's now doing that for me? Now, we're not getting spooky. We're being real and genuine. There was an individual who took it upon himself, sacrificed his whole life to give something for you to have, to better your condition, not just in heaven, in the heavens above, if you will, but here on earth.
That's right.
To better your condition here on earth. And even better point that I love is dealing with your ethnicity. We're Moors. You could believe whatever you want to believe. You could live your life however you would desire to live it. You're still a Moor. And there's things that are connected to that. It's called the birthright. And it's very vast.
Teach you, Mo.
It's monumental.
That's right.
And some would say multidimensional. Some would even say plethora or entendres, gargantuan, magnanimous. There's a lot that we have been provided. And this pamphlet here,
That's right.
48 chapters. And there's so much contained in this, volumes and volumes of books that you can still read if you like, but they're contained in here. You can go to a instruction on one page and it could be associated with volumes of books from many different authors talking about esotericism, if you want to get into that, mysticism, if you want to get into that, metaphysics. Oh, Brother Rambo-El. I had the pleasure of going to community college in Pasco, Washington, Columbia Basin Community College. And I'm hearing the biology teacher go and talk about the different forms of life, the zygote and the nucleus and the different cells and how the cells can break off and get more cells and rejuvenate themselves. And then a certain body of cells with certain information and data can then be metamorphosed into a horse, or can be metamorphosed into a cow, or can be metamorphosed into a human. And then it started breaking down how you then have chemistry. So that's what they call biochemistry. And I'm thinking like, wow, this is very, very interesting. It sounds so familiar. But I didn't have good grades with science in high school. But then I opened up and read chapter 1, and he's talking about biology, chemistry, biochemistry. He's talking about it all in one chapter.
That's right, Mo.
And that's a beautiful thing. We should be appreciative of that. But if you don't know what you have, you won't be able to be appreciative of it. So it's important that you all viewers open your eyes and the eye and be willing to receive something that perhaps, possibly, peradventure, may make you into a new creation that Allah is destined for you to be. Mm-hmm. You know, it's such a blessing to know about a man whose words have changed so many lives. Like, again, I said it multidimensionally. Now, I'm going to get into this real quick because there was a man that we all know, and his name is Malcolm X, also known as El Hajj El Malik El Shabazz. And he had a teacher, as we know, as is expressed as being the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it's been expressed and verified and certified and authenticated that he knew about who Prophet Noble Drew Ali was. Yeah. But we won't get into it too much, but he didn't really mention him. He didn't really mention the connection and association. But there was a connection. And the connection was so profound that Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, created a whole entire organization that transcends different dimensions on the planet Earth today. Different economic engagements and contracts and businesses and national government heads are interacting with Minister Louis Farrakhan to this day. And to say that there's no association and it's not a byproduct of what that relationship was between the two individuals is asinine. You know, there was a connection, and that connection, in due time, it will go public. And, you know, it may hurt some feelings, but the thing is that the truth will make you free. Some people say set, but I like the word make, because it's a creative process that takes place. Mm-hmm. In other words, in some circles, they'll say a metamorphosis or a transmutation. Right. And also dealing with that element of fire. Yeah. When you're dealing with burning coal, or as we had a issue with the weather and we end up having a fireplace when our furnace went out. Yeah. We put that fire there. My wife was getting in there and putting that fire to keep it going with that wood for it to be able to feed and transmute that wood into simply dust. That is what can take place in dealing with Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
Yes, indeed.
I yield the floor, brother.
Yes,
Praise Allah. I really enjoyed that, brother.
Indeed.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed it, though, because when you begin to look and talk about the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, you'll see that he founded the Moorish Temple of America in 1913. During that time, there was no other organization here in America teaching anything about religion or Islam. Drew Ali was the first to come and bring Islam. But then you will see that there was those that had to get some money to come and tell the people that they was Negro, colored, and black, or that they was just black. Mm-hmm. Because if you keep telling the people that they are Moorish, then eventually they're going to believe it. Because Drew Ali said he's going to make the government enforce his law anyway. So now we're talking about nationality, and now we're talking about divine creed. Let me tell you something. Ain't nothing going on in this government. Most say he used to be a crip. There's nothing going on in this government, no pictures. If the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Elijah Poole Bey, if he was in the Moorish Temple of America, they got records of it. Yep. And elders got records of it. So don't worry about the record. All you do is do what you do, because let me say this, and now I'm going to call this more. There's no such thing as a Negro, colored, and black. Islam. This is why Allah sent Noble Drew Ali, to redeem us from our sinful ways, and to warn us of the great wrath which is sure to come upon the earth. That's why Drew Ali came in 1913. And he told us who we was and who we was not. Even the Dred Scott decision of 1857. Chief Justice Roger B. Chandler said that the words all men are created equal never meant to apply to those who call themselves Negro, colored, and black. So we blessed, brother. We are blessed. You 27 years old. I might don't see it, but you going to see some things. And Allah going to bless you. And you know who going to be the Grand Sheik when you see it? Your son. So without further ado, we'll call our brother, Brother Rambo-El.
Islam. Yeah. Once again, As always, Moors rise, Moors teach. They teach more. They teach you more about the things you didn't know, teach you more about the things that have yet to come. One thing we are here to do is to teach you about your two selves, to teach you about your higher self and your lower self, to teach you about what the prophet brought to you, to teach you about your nationality, because nationality is the order and day.
That's right.
See, the prophet is talking about nationality because he knows that if you continue going this course using these brands that have been placed upon us as Negro, colored, and black, that's your demise. You're pretty much like an individual that's just drifting on the earth, and because you're just drifting on the earth and there's no identification from where it is that you come or from which it is you have or what you stand under. What is your source of life? What flag do you stand under?
Right.
What is your divine creed? What is your constitution? And the prophet told us, I brought you a government. All I need is the people.
Right.
We have the same seats as any other government. We have a constitution. Constitution may be the shortest constitution known to any constitution of any nation. However, it's a constitution, the most effective constitution of all constitutions, because we don't have all these things that's being amended to it. It is what it is.
Right.
It's already been amended. So we don't put anything to it. We don't take anything out of it other than what the prophet gave us to take out of and draw out of it and give to you. That's what we're here for. We love to teach this. It's an empowering, just speaking about it just makes me feel so good inside, make me feel all fuzzy. Make me feel like just jumping up, dancing.
Yes,
you know, not no twerking, none of that. Not what they doing in the church, because we don't do the church. We temples.
Yeah.
Anywhere we step in as a temple.
Yes, sir.
Change everything into a temple,
Yes,
because
sir.
we are that. And so, everything we bring to you, we bring it to you from what the prophet is speaking through us to get to you. Because the only way the information can get to you is if the brother speaks it to you, but the brother speaks it to you by way of what comes through him to teach. Sometimes I might be wanting to talk about something, but something else come up. Prophet might direct me to speak
That's
on
right.
this.
That's right, Mom.
Be on this course.
That's right, Mom.
And being on that course, it brings us this source of life that just energizes me. Cause I was a little drained, a little tired, and but when I get to talking about the prophet, I resurrect.
Yes, sir.
And the resurrection is a fact.
Yes,
if you're
sir.
doing the things that you're supposed to do to get there. I'm not always in the alignment of what I'm supposed to be in. But when I pick things up, just touching this, you
Yes,
don't even
sir.
have to open it up.
Yes, sir.
You can just touch it. And it's going to just give you this chill. It's going to give you this feeling of endearment. It's going to resurrect you. It's going to lift you up. It's going to have you wanting to go out and just start getting on the corner and start talking about the prophet. Have a megaphone talking about, hey, brother, hey, sister, come and hear the truth about yourself.
That's right.
You know about the prophet? Noble Ali? You know what he came? He came for you. He came to give you two things that you do not have. Because before that, you was just 3/5 of a human being.
That's right.
Just 3/5. You was nothing. Just as it is today. Many of us are getting shot down in the streets. Why? Because we don't have our hairdress on. If you have a hairdress on your head, they ain't going to shoot you down. They don't know where you come from.
That's right.
They don't know who you are.
That's right.
They don't know what embassy they're going to have to deal with.
That's right.
You're a natural citizen. And being a citizen changes everything. See, I don't have to go to the courthouse to go get anything because the prophet didn't send us down there to get nothing.
Teach that, man.
The
That's right.
only way that you can, the way that you get recognized is being one who goes through the front door of the temple. Because that's what the prophet did. Prophet didn't go around the back door.
Right.
He didn't go to the courthouse.
That's right.
The prophet went through the front door.
That's right.
And he had the doors open for others to come through the front door. So he could give you your identification card to give you the things that you don't have. So therefore, he can make you whole. See, when Malcolm X went to the United Nations, and he went up under the Negro and the color and the black, you know, he couldn't get nothing from that. He couldn't get nothing because there's no seat. Ain't no seat in there for a Negro. There's not a seat in there for anybody black. Not in the seat in there for anybody colored.
That's right, Mom.
There's not a flag. You know, like the Sheik always likes to speak and state that the only black flag he knows is the one that kills roaches. And you can go down any aisle, any grocery store, and you
sir.
can go ahead and find
Yes,
some
sir.
black flag. And
right.
but we don't fall up under a black flag. We fall up under what is known as the Moorish American flag. And we fall up under what many people, brothers, and ask me, man, what you doing with that American flag? I say, well, brother, if you don't know, come find out. You can come through the door of the Moorish Science Temple, and we'll teach you so that you'll know exactly what that represents. If the prophet wasn't real, then the prophet would have never been able to retrieve that flag from Woodrow Wilson if he wasn't real. And they wouldn't have said, well, wait a minute, show us a sign so we'll know that you are the one. Prophet opened up his hand, the whole room lit up. Good God, but you're a little too early. No, the prophet, not too early. It's just y'all too late.
Right.
The prophet was on time because it was the great God Allah himself that brought the prophet there and placed him in that seat and gave him the things that he needed to get what he was trying to get, and that was the cherry tree. I came to get the cherry tree. The cherry tree. What many people ask, what's the cherry tree? Well, the cherry tree is what was chopped down. It was our flag that was taken down. It was that red flag with the 5-point green star in the center.
That's right.
That's what he came to get. So that we could go ahead and have a standing, to be able to stand under something, to be able to be recognized as a collective group of people, be able to be recognized as a nation of people. We just have to understand that the prophet was real. Many people ask the question, well, what did he prophesize about? Well, hey, brother, well, come to the Moorish Science Temple. We can go ahead and give you all that information.
Yes,
but seeing that you asked, well, let's just go from the time that he prophesied about this. He talked about Detroit. What would Detroit look like today? He talked about the grass growing out the concrete, trees growing out of buildings, desolated homes, just the whole of Detroit just being a place that you really don't want to be, because the changing of it, the structure of it, not beautiful. It's not pleasant, but it's a whole lot of Moors there. That's a great deal of Moors out that way. But the prophet prophesied about that. The prophet prophesied about walking over $1. You just gonna step over. Why? Because it don't have no meaning. It doesn't have anything. You can't have no value to it. You're not gonna pick it up because you can't purchase anything with it. Because it's gonna be all out of the norm of things anyway. Because everything's gonna be credit. Everything's gonna be on a piece of plastic. So that's what you're gonna be dealing with. So it's a lot of things that the prophet prophesied about. Those are just a few things that I'm able to give to you at this time. However, if you coming through the doorway of the Moorish Science Temple here in Portland, Oregon, if you are a viewer in Portland, Oregon, you can come to the temple here. And if you're not and you're a viewer from somewhere other place, then you can go through the doorway there. Take a look at it. Take a look at yourself. Contemplate your frame. Don't be ashamed. I was ashamed, but I was woke up. I got woke up. I got shook up out of there. I got shook up out my sleep. And so our position is to go ahead and get up and resurrect so we can get our brother up out that shallow grave.
Yes, sir.
Rambo-El is in a shallow grave. The only way we going to get him up out of there is if we all come up under what the prophet told us that we need to do. We have to all come up under one head. All one head, because we are one head. We come from one head. And he is the head of the estate.
That's right.
The prophet is the head of the estate.
That's right.
And if we heirs of the prophet, we have to understand what it is that we must do. And the prophet says we have to come out here and we have to do the work. We have to contemplate our frame. The things that we do wrong, we know what it is we do wrong. If there's things that need to be corrected, then correct those things. If you're harming somebody and making people feel bad, well, those are not righteous things. That's unrighteousness. So therefore, you must go ahead and draw your strength to change yourself by way of what the prophet brought to me. It's helped me change some things. It helped me change a great deal about myself because I wasn't seeing the beauty of myself. I might sit up there and go get a haircut and get it all tailor-made, put waves all up in there, and then be all in the mirror doing all these things, but and say my haircut is tailor-made. I might put a suit on and be saying, oh yeah, our suit is tailor-made. But one thing that's not tailor-made is when you stay confused is your mind ain't tailor-made. So you might look good on the outside, but your inside is ugly. It's just like that apple. It's pleasing to the eye. It was looking shiny and all lovely. But then when you took a bite of it, it was rotten to the core.
Right.
That's how I was. You take a bite of me, you was like, damn man, what's going on with you? I was rotten to the core. I needed to be cleansed. And those things that cleaned me out was knowing who I was. Not who I was told to be, but who I actually am. And when I go ahead and take a look at who I actually am and I give it to other people to show them this is who you actually are, it's up to you. It's up to you to drink from the fountain. I can't force you to drink from the fountain of youth. The fountain of youth for me was the fountain of me becoming a Moorish American Muslim and knowing exactly what that is. Not what somebody told me, but what I studied to find out for myself. This is who I am. This is who you are. This is what the prophet came for. It's like we're in total disrespect to the prophet when we don't come to the prophet. But as it's been stated, we can't do it all at one time. It'll be pandemonium. That's right. People, they'd be running all, they wouldn't know what to do. So it has to come to you in pieces. So we feed you a little here. Put a little bit over here on your plate. You know, I don't know if you like peas. I don't know if you like carrots. I don't know if you like them raw. I don't know if you like them cooked. I don't know those things. But you know what it is that you like. You know what it is that you don't like. But sometimes, just because we may not understand some things, and then because we don't understand it, we don't like it, maybe you should go ahead and try to get a taste of it. And this is the taste that we're giving you right now. It's a nice taste. I love the way that the prophet brought this literature to me. I love the way it tastes when I speak about it. I love that holy zeal. I love the brothers that's here. I love the sisters here. You see my little brother that's up there? His birthday and my birthday is on the same day.
That's right,
He probably came on the plane of things made manifest before me. He just came back to say, man, look here, you better get your thing right. I ain't playing.
I told him to tell you.
You know, the prophet be sending them. And when they come, it's our duty to get an understanding of who it is that was sent, who's here is present. What our duty is to ensure that they are resurrected and raised in the right manner. But the only way it's going to be is if we raise ourselves in the right thought. Because if we're not raised in the right thought, then that means they're going to go in a different direction. I have a cousin, she's incarcerated right now recently, and then my other cousins have raised all of her children. So she just had a little daughter that's about 3-4 years old now. So my cousins have taken her and they're raising her. However, there was a party that was given and she was in the party twerking, little girl. And so my sister had to go over there to and grab on her and say, hold up, no, you don't do that. She started crying, ran to her mama. Mama, you know, hey, what's wrong with her dancing? No, she can't be doing that type of dancing. That ain't cool. Because if we continue that on, then what's she going to be doing? She's 3 today. She'll be 4 tomorrow. She'll be 5 after that. And if that continues on, by the time she's 12, who knows what she'll be doing and who she'll be doing those things with. So it's our duty is to correct those things today so they don't have to be corrected tomorrow. So then that child can see and tell another child that ain't cool. Yeah. And therefore, when that child tells that child it ain't cool, not only she says it's not cool, she tells her why it's not cool. Because we must respect ourselves. We have to have a great deal of respect for ourselves. And then we be able to have a great deal of respect for all others. I might not always have the greatest respect for myself. And so therefore I might be disrespectful or irritated by others because I'm really irritated about myself. So then I just take that irritation and I throw it at somebody else to make them irritated. But that's not good. That's not kind. That ain't what the prophet brought. The prophet brought love. The prophet brought truth. The prophet brought peace. He brought freedom. He brought justice. He brought us these things. He brought us all the things that we needed as principles for who it is that we are and which we stand. He brought us our 2 flags. Just so Lee, just so Quintus. Flag of our birth and the flag of our descent.
Yes, sir.
I mean, we are beautiful people. We got to see the beauty and exercise the beauty that's in us. Can't nobody else exercise that. Can't nobody tell our story better than we can tell our own.
That's right, man.
Our story is a story that's so deep, so broad. It's something that's continuous. It never stops. It's max cube. And if we as a people overstand that and we come together up under one head, who's gonna stop us?
Right.
Who's gonna stop us from receiving what it is that we seek to receive?
Like Voltron.
It's all out there. We talk about reparations. You got all these different people running around talking about reparations. No, the only way you're going to get your reparations is through the Moorish Temple.
That's right, Mom.
It's the only way you're going to get it.
That's right.
If you continue, if you think you're going to go get it being a Negro or color black, those is brands that was placed upon you by the American government. They're not going to pay a slave anything. But guess what? They'll pay the ones that identify with what the prophet brought. They'll do that. And if my brother, now many people might have bad things to say about Barack Obama, who was the president of this country at one time. But this brother had the truth in his hand, framed. The truth was framed. And who was that truth? The prophet. He has it clearly in his hand for all to see. So if he recognizes who this is, and the European recognizes who he is, then why not you? Let that marinate.
Praise Allah.
Stay tuned. I'll be back. Islam.
Praise Allah, Ma. You know, I was looking at my records, and it said that Morocco got its independence March 2nd, 1956, from under the French rule. But now we see Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton talking about the Moors was the first nation on earth that had a treaty with the Moroccan Empire. But they're not talking about the Moroccans of the day. They're talking about the Moroccans of, they're not talking about the Moroccans of yesterday. They're talking about today because they're different Moroccans. See? Now, the brother asked me, what is your nationality? I said, Moorish American. He said, why are you Moorish American? I said, because we are descendants of Moroccans and born in America. He said, who are these Moroccans? They are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Now, who are these Moroccans? They are the biblical sons and daughters of Ham, one of the three sons of Noah, according to the biblical scriptures. And this is why we are Hamitic by decent nature, by the way of Lot. So right now, I'd like to recite Act 6 of our divine constitution and bylaw. Act 6, with us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we're teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they're not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names was given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained noble Durrel the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Now, Durrel said he can't wake everybody up at once. He said because if he woke everybody up at once, he couldn't do nothing with you himself. So he said many are called and only a few are chosen. So right now, a lot of us who think that we're conscious, we can't even see that we was Moroccan before we become Negro, colored, and black. And this is what Allah put in Noble Durrel to bring us, because that redeemed us from our sinful ways. Now, Act 7, all members must properly attend their meetings and become a part and a parcel of all the 50 acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband, take care of your children, and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant from your holy prophet Noble Durrel through the guidance of his father, God Allah. So Morocco got its independence March 2nd, 1956, from under the French rule, but they done took it from us. That's how it's that. They took it from us. We are the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. But when the queen did what she did, now Megan and all of them, she got 100 million here, she got 100 million there, and the reason why everybody got that money because they took it from you and me. They took it from the Moors. We are the descendants of the ancient Moabite. We ain't talking about the present day Moabite. What Moabite are you talking about? You got ancient, or you talking about today? You just said, I heard the brother just say that his family knew about the Jews. Wasn't no Jewish people in Europe. They took your birthright. They buried you in Vatican Square and took on your name. This is why Allah sent Noble Jew Ali to this earth, because it said whenever a nation is in need of a prophet, Allah will send one. And when he sent Jew Ali came with a methodology that was conducive to our growth and our development. He told us to walk like Jesus. He told us to walk like Muhammad. He told us to walk like Buddha. He told us to walk like Confucius, because there ain't but one. In my father's house are many mansions, and if it was not so, I would have told you. So Noble Jew Ali, who is the last prophet in these days, he is Jesus come again.
Yes,
Jew
indeed.
Ali and Jesus is one and the same.
That's right.
But the people want to take Jesus from you and take Jesus from me and give us something other. Now we got a flag. And I looked at those two flags right there. When I was in the military, a brother told me that there's no flag right of the American flag. So you see how that flag is? That's how it's flown, and we might be in disagreement with the way that this government is carrying us. But we got to keep it like Jew Ali told us. And the reason why he told us that is because our blessings are coming through that. We're talking about citizenship. We are talking about becoming citizens in this government. That's why he said the citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, are all of one family bearing one free national name. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirable and is subject to all inferior names, abuses, and mistreatment that the citizens care to bestow upon you. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the name and principles that delude to slavery. Now, what are those principles that delude to slavery? Negro, colored, and black. Negro is a name given to a river in West Africa by Moor because it contained black water. Colored is anything, and Negro is anything. And everything is anything other than what Noble Jew Ali told us. So we have brothers that's sitting here now, and your spirit is not the same as everybody else's spirit. So you got to understand that when the prophet said, many are called, a few are chosen, listening to you teach, you're teaching the public different. You are giving them something in a different demonstration that they're not getting nowhere else. Because once you begin to come in tune with Allah, then Allah can work on your spirit. And when he begin to work on your spirit, then you can begin to raise people up. Like I said, we got two flags, a flag of our origin and a flag of our birth. You got all these different people who say they're Moorish. Right now, in Portland, Oregon, you have a lot of brothers that say they're part of the national side. You're part of the national side, but Jew Ali told us about the national and the divided. He told us about two. He didn't tell us about no one. He said you got to crush one under thy feet and tame the other to that purpose. And for what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded? For the uplifting of fallen humanity. How did the prophet get to uplift the Moorish America? By teaching them to be themselves. You two brothers, y'all gave a lesson today. Y'all gave a lesson today that brothers across the country mad that y'all gave. Because y'all are doing something that the prophet tell you to do. You know what he told me to do? He said, take unto thyself a wife and obey the ordinance of Allah. Take unto thyself a wife and become a faithful member of society. But examine with care, fix thy son on thy present chores, depend on thy future happiness. Now the sister and the brother, ain't no, the only difference between you and the sister is her duty. The woman have a different duty than man. That's why the lessons tell us that. All times are not alike. Sometimes women teach best. Man don't teach best all the time. He got to know his place. So what you brothers taught here today, a lot of people going to look at that. Because you came on here, you talking about love, and the most talking about love too. I like that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. That's the only way that we're going to start being able to raise our people up. See? Because if you give people things that's diametrically opposed to what Noble Drew Ali said, they're going to miss the message. See? They say many are called, only a few are chosen, and some are sent. See? You got to understand the spirit. Everybody, Drew Ali said he come for the young and yet born. He said the old can follow if they want. See? But he said he come for the young and yet born. So that's why we have an obligation to give our life a willing sacrifice and teach them babies. Because they are our future. That's the only thing I live for. That's the only thing you live for. The only thing you live for is to teach these lessons to our little ones that they may learn to love instead of hate. If you do it any other kind of way, you're doing something diametrically opposed with what Noble Drew Ali told us. And once we get together and start teaching these lessons, the spirit gonna come over you. There's a spirit in this, Mo. You know, I was telling the brother the other day that, and he was saying too, that he ain't the same brother that he used to be 100 years ago. He said, because once you begin to study the prophet and his teaching, you're going to start unfolding. You unfold. That's what the book says. Mm-hmm. Unfold into holy breath. See? Because it ain't but two selves. But then it ain't but one self. They say it's a higher self and it's a lower self. But you got to crush one under thy feet and tame the other to that purpose. And what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded? For the uplifting of fallen humanity. And how did he begin to by teaching up to be themselves. Now who are you? Asiatic Muslim. What are you? What is your forefather? What is your divine creed? Now you say that you Moorish American. And why are you Moorish American? Because you are descendants of the Moroccans born in America. And these Moroccans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites. Now when we begin to talk about the Moabites, and the Hammatites, and the Amorites, we are one people. And you got to understand that they're not European. Mm-hmm. Now, when we begin to talk about Noah, and Noah had an ark. And when Noah had an ark, we had another lesson that the prophet gave us about Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. Because both of them knew both sides of the public. But they wouldn't tell it. I heard we talk about Barack Obama, but he knew that those people that was in, Morocco, what is their nationality? Is they French? No. What is their nationality? Because we know they wasn't Moroccans. They moved one people out of a place and put somebody else there. They done took out everything. Mm-hmm. They done took our forefathers. They done buried them in Vatican Square. They done took on our name. And now we Negro, colored, and black. And it's like that because they our sharpest people. Some of Noble Drew Ali's strongest brothers and sisters took the money from the Europeans. But Allah didn't work it that way. You fail to realize that it might be 100 years, it might be tomorrow. But Allah made it so that the Moroccan Empire is back here today. They couldn't take that away from us. I don't care what you say. Even those that say that they on the national side, they say they're Moors. They don't want to be Americans now, but they say they're Moors. But they fail to realize that if we talking about getting reparation, the only way that you can become a part of that nucleus, you're going to have to study the prophet. You're going to have to know the prophet. You're going to have to know his lessons. You're going to have to know. That's why we have 101 questions. That's the Last Supper. The one over the one is the high over the low, the rich over the poor, the wise over the ignorant. See, I ain't the same person I used to be yesterday. I changed because I was weak. And it was hard for me not to grow like I supposed to. Because if you talking about you want to walk with Drew Ali, then you got to be of a good spirit. You can't walk with him and you doing things that diametrically opposed to what he taught. He told us some things. He told us he redeemed us from our sinful ways. and told us about the great wrath which is sure to come upon the earth. So now he said that you Ali made you. How did he made you? He said, fearfully and wonderfully are thou made. Praise therefore our Creator, we all and rejoice before him with reverence. So we talking about the spirit now. We're going to overcome whatever we want to overcome. We have to overcome it. If you talking about walking with Drew Ali, you're going to have to get his back. Get back to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. And give a lot of thoughts of your heart. You know, and I'm looking at you two brothers again. You married? You have a brand new baby? Mo talking about the same thing. And I'm looking at you, Mo. You know, you can make me go get me one now. Yeah, but yeah, Mo, it's always a blessing, man. This is the prophet's birthday is tomorrow. You know, January the 8th. You know, and this is a blessing for us because we are born again. You know, he said, you must be going. Say, must I go back to my mother's womb? Say, no. Say, that which is of the flesh is of the flesh. And that which is of the spirit is of the spirit. So you have to change your thought pattern. You know, like I said earlier, the things you used to do, the places you used to go, the friends you used to have, you got to let that go. You got to let it go. Some of the Moors, I was talking to him about certain brothers, you got to let them people alone, man. If not, they're going to spank you for it. You know, you can't serve two masters at the same time. Nobody can. You can love one and despise the other. And this is what we teaching here in the Moorish Scientific America, teaching you how to be yourself. Teaching you about your higher self and your lower self. Because the higher self is the mother of virtues and the harmonies of life. And breeze, justice, mercy, love, and right. Can the higher self pass away? No. Why? Because it is a law in man. What do the lower self breed? Hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms. That's the lower self. This is what Drew Ali came to redeem us from our sinful ways and to warn us of the wrath which is sure to come upon the earth. Can truth change? Truth cannot change or pass away. What other name do we give the truth? Holy breath. What have you to say about the holy breath? All we can say, it is great, it is good, it was, it is, and never more to be. You see what I mean? And when you in your house by yourself and your family and you talking like that, that's a lot blessing you. He raising you up. And a lot of times we got to go out there and tell all them people over there, you ain't right. Now get your house in order. Raise your son up. Raise your wife up. Raise your children up. That's what it's about, Mo. And then Allah will connect the dots. Allah will connect the dots for all of us. But I like to reiterate, you know, certain brothers and sisters, I only want to go around. What you mean, I don't want to go around? Because you causing too much confusion. Like I say right now, you got brothers that 50, 60, 70 years old, been in the Moorish Temple, and you got somebody been around 8 years, 8 months, and gonna tell them you wrong, you got good. Nah, Mo, build your family up. Do you have a wife and children? Raise them up, and we're all gonna become one. And this is what Drew Ali brought to us, Mo. And look who he came to. He came to the tribe, and he came to all of us. He came to those that been through all the ways of life. Ain't nowhere I haven't been. I done been through all the ways of life. You know, I remember one time one of the Sheiks came to me. I said, how you doing, Lynch-Bey? I said, he said, if you be good today, I'll read my Quran to you. He said, if you ain't good, I ain't gonna read my Quran to you. So a lot of times we pick up the Quran and think we got it, we don't even have it. You know, Allah gives certain sheiks. Say if you're the sheik of the temple, you're going to find out later on there's going to be a lot of brothers and a lot of sisters that you come in contact with, and they can quote the prophet real good to you, but they're not of that spirit because certain things they haven't let go yet. You got to let some things go, Mo. You know, if you're talking about that you're sheik, okay, you're sheik, and all sheiks are not divine ministers. And all divine ministers are not sheiks. But certain brothers that's of that spirit, you all in one. You know, some brothers is how can I say, justice. Some brothers is mercy. Some is love. And some is right. But me, I was Lucifer. I was Satan. I was the devil. I was the dragon. And I was the beast. But through the teachings of the prophet, I overcame these things. See, you have to, if it was Satan to be bound then, say Satan was to be bound in part. Say, when was the head of Satan taken off? 1453 Byzantine, by whom? By Muhammad. Now I say 1453. Now 711 to 1492 for 1453. 1453 is Byzantine. We talking about the Byzantine Empire. And that's why Sunday school is so blessed, Lord. You know, so what I want to do right now, I want to read something to the Moors because I know our time about up. How much time we got left?
2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Yeah, 2.5.
Okay. Well, I read verse 2 and verse 3. This is the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, chapter 46. And it's chapter 47. And it's Egypt, the capital empire of the Dominion of Africa. And I'm going to read from there's 2 verses. I'm going to read from verse 2 and verse 3. Now, we know Ham had 4 sons. Cush, Put, Mizraim, and Canaan. So it's the old man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. Verse 3. His father Ham. Now we know Noah had 3 sons. Ham, Shem, and Japheth. But when you look in the Bible, it says that Noah's 3 sons were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. They want to make Shem the oldest son and not Ham. But when you say Ham, what you add with that? Abraham. See, we talking about the spirit. And when you talking about Ham, you talking about us as Asiatic. When you talking about Shem and Japheth, you talking about the Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, and then you talking about the European nation. See, and these are things that we teach in Sunday school. These are things that the prophet gave us right in here. Even say right here, old man Cush.
Mm-hmm.
Now Ham had 4 sons, right?
Yep.
And one of them was Cush. You see? So these are things that we got. And then they talk about the dominion of Cush. Northeast and southeast Africa, and northwest and southwest was his father's dominion of Africa. So I stop here because I know we're getting ready to close out. I'm always honored, Mo. It's an honor to come by here.
Yes,
And like I say, I come to here every month. You can come here whenever you want to exercise your 7 senses, brother, because I see all 7 of them in you. Praise Allah. At this time, we recite the Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Durrel. Amen. We